All right, everybody, welcome to, I think this is part 5 of this series on how to do up one of these Shays. In this video, we're going to cover how I remove the pinstriping and the lettering from these locomotives, because most people don't model the Midwest Quarry and Mining Company. I don't really know why Bachmann insists on putting road names on things that no one actually models. I also personally don't like the pinstripes on these locomotives. I think they may have done it in real life, but in my opinion, I think putting white paint on something that's going to be really, really grungy is not something I like, so I usually take the pinstripes off. So this is going to be a pretty short video. It's really not a super complicated process. I'm not going to take you through, I'm not going to take you through every excruciating step of how to do this. It's pretty straightforward. So I'll just get into it. So the way I remove these pinstripes is I just take a little nail file, nothing fancy. I probably got this at the dollar store, and I just go over the pinstripes here. These braces kind of stick out a little bit past the end of the running board here, so you do have to kind of work your way around those. Same thing here. So you can see it actually comes off quite easily. If you go too far, you get down to the bare die-cast metal, which is, it's not the end of the world. It's no big deal. But you also don't have to get the whole thing off, like every single little bit. And then so that's how you take the pinstripe off. And then I'm going to do it on this running board here. Same process. You just hit that until that comes off. This is going to be a super short video. Just get all that paint off. And you would do that all the way around the whole engine. Be careful here when you're doing it near the cab. Try not to scratch the cab up if you're going to be keeping this cab. But yeah, I mean, this side it's just a longer pinstripe that goes around along the whole length of the locomotive. But for the purposes of this video, that's how you get that off. And then I take just this black acrylic paint from the craft store, nothing fancy, and I just take the lid off. I use the paint that's in the lid, and I just take kind of a fine tip paintbrush here, and then you just kind of dab it on. Just like that, and when this dries, it'll dry nice and flat. It's probably a little shiny right now with it in such direct light and with it being wet, but when it dries, it's nice and flat. So that's how you do that. And on the front, same thing. Just doesn't take much. Just like that. Hit the sides real quick. Then when that dries, it'll be nice and flat and black, like the pinstripe was never there. So that's the process for the locomotive. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through doing the whole locomotive. It's just like that, just over the rest of it. And then on the tender, same process pretty much. All I do is take a nail file and I just kind of sand away at the pinstripes and the lettering. My friend Al Judy, he says he uses basically kind of a miniature sandblaster to do this. I forget what it's called, and if I can remember the name of it, I can put it in the description below, but he uses basically a miniature sandblaster to do this, a handheld one that you do outside. It doesn't capture any of the sand. You do it outside, and it kind of just falls on the ground. But you just do all this, try not to block the camera. Because these are kind of decals and they are raised, it is imperative that you do remove them, because if you just spray paint it over it, you'd still see the lettering showing through the spray paint, because it's proud. It's proud of the rest of it. So just like that. You do kind of have to work your way around these grab irons. It's a little tricky, but you can get it. I think I usually use a little bit smaller nail file, but you can see there I'm getting it. Just sand all these things off. The tender is, especially around these grab irons, a little bit of pain. But that's basically it, and then you hit that with some isopropyl alcohol to get all the dust and fingerprint stuff off. You do that all the way around, and then you just spray paint it with some flat black spray paint. I think the locomotive is a little bit satin, so I think you can actually also use some satin spray paint. When you go to weather the locomotive, you hit the whole thing with flat dull coat, some Testors dull coat before you weather it anyway, and that'll get everything to the same sheen. So it's not too super serious. You can either use flat or satin. But so yeah, I'm not gonna waste you guys' time with spray painting this. And basically, you just spray paint it, let it dry, and then it's ready to go back on. You can see here now that this is dried. It's nice and flat, and the pinstripes have been removed. So it's kind of not really a super glamorous video, but I had a couple people say they were looking forward to this part of the process. Truthfully, I was going to kind of skip past this part, but a few people said they wanted to see it. So that's about it. I mean, really pretty straightforward, not much to it, not a glamorous or a sexy part of this process. It's just sand off the white and paint it black. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna leave it there at this one. Thank you for watching part 5 of this series. In the next video, in the last video, these will all have been painted. We'll get it all buttoned up. I'll show you how I I program the locomotive and the decoder with all the sounds I use and everything like that, and a really high-level overview of the Wow Sound audio assist feature, where it really makes programming the sounds of this locomotive super easy. I only program one CV, and that basically makes the headlight stay on in both directions, but everything else is done through an audio assist, where you push the number 6 4 times, push it 3 times, and then it's a really easy process to program these, and I'll go through that in the next video. But I think the next video will be the last one in the series. If you have been, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.